Hi, my name is Zitlali-Research, and today I'm going to be talking about the research article I chose for my research methods class. I chose to do a quick summary on the forensic study of Schistosoma japonicum eggs found in autopsy case. Just a little bit about why I decided to choose this article. I do want to do autopsies in the future once I get my degree and everything, so I kind of found it a little intriguing just to do a little bit of research before I actually go into that field. So a little bit about the history before we start to actually talk about the autopsy case. The Schistosoma japonicum was discovered in 1904 by Dr. Katsurada. A male Schistosoma japonicum worm was found in a dead cat, and then a few days later, a female Schistosoma japonicum worm was found in a homicide victim. So just a little bit about some of the highly contaminated areas in Japan. I really wanted to focus on the Tone River Basin just because that is where the most, there were a lot of cases of human infections at that location. So like I said, in the 1970s, there were human infections of the Schistosoma japonicum. 15 cases were actually found where eggs were found in the liver or in the rectum. So a quick map of where the Tone River Basin is located. It's located right here. And then this is the liver, and this is what the oval bodies look like if your liver is infected with the japonicum worm. So a little bit about the case. The homicide victim was an 80-year-old Japanese man. He had a little over 100 plus stab wounds or incision wounds all over his body. He died from hypervolemic shock, which is when you lose 20% of your body's blood. And in this case, he lost 20% of the body's blood from a ruptured aortic valve. The aortic valve just allows the blood to leave from the heart. So then, diving in a little deeper about the actual japonicum worm. The liver of the victim was stained with hematoxylin and eosin, otherwise known as HE, which is picture A. So this is the staining of the liver. And then the staining revealed oval bodies in the glistens capsule, which is just a tissue that surrounds the liver, which is image B. They found that it had a thicker outer part, and then the closer you got to the middle, the thinner it was. So this is kind of what this picture shows, this darker purple outline. That's where it's the thickest. And as you move towards the center, it gets thinner. So then after this was found, they did immunohistostaining using polyclonal rabbit Schistosoma japonicum antibody. In other words, they were just trying to figure out whether it was or wasn't Schistosoma japonicum. So obviously in this case it was, and this is what picture C shows. These are the oval bodies that are schistosoma. And then these oval bodies were stained, and the staining revealed that the eggs were old, which is what image D shows. So these eggs were only found in the liver. Like I mentioned before, it is possible to find eggs in the rectum as well, but it was not in this case. So were these eggs dead or alive? If they were alive, it would be a really big problem because we would need to prevent the spread of infection. Luckily, the eggs were actually dead, so they found that the inner part of the egg was decomposed. So then they stained the egg again, just to make sure that there was going to be no response surrounding the eggs. If there was some sort of inflammatory response around the eggs, it would mean that the eggs were active. So in this case, no inflammatory response, so that means that the eggs were old and inactive and not a problem. So in conclusion, they found several Schistosoma japonicum eggs in the homicide victim's liver. He showed no symptoms growing up, which was a little unusual. Scientists were a little stunned at that he had no symptoms. The eggs, obviously, like I mentioned, were dead and inactive, so they didn't pose a threat. And just a little bit about what scientists hope to do in the future and accomplish. By doing DNA analysis in highly affected areas, they're really looking at Japan specifically, just because of the previous cases in the 1970s. Doing DNA analysis will provide more information to scientists about Schistosoma discuss the somal japonicum and how they can possibly prevent it or treat it. And that is just my source. So thank you for watching.